Today, every inhabitant of this planet must contemplate the day when this planet may no longer be habitable. Every man, woman, and child lives under a nuclear sword of Damocles, hanging by the slenderest of threads, capable of being cut at any moment by accident or miscalculation or by madness.
The threat of nuclear war wasn't hypothetical. It was real. There was a tremendous anxiety that the world might end on any day, and that a mistake, a miscalculation, an accident could set in motion a nuclear conflict that would destroy almost all life on Earth.
Well, I was interested in whether or not I was going to get blown up by an H-bomb, and started reading up on all the, literature of which there's a terrific extent, a tremendous a lot. Boy, am I getting step on it. A tremendous a lot. At first, when you read the brilliant analyses and the games theories, and your first reaction, superficially, is you're very encouraged because you suddenly realize there's this whole body of thought that's gone into the whole thing, and you think, yes, well now, and then as you read on and become more involved, then you begin to realize that all these things lead to very paradoxical outcomes. I mean, the problem to begin with is that people do not react to abstractions, but that the atomic bomb is as much of an abstraction as you could possibly have. I mean, it's as abstract as the fact that you know that someday you'll die. And you do an excellent job of denying it psychologically. Most, I would say, in the minds of most people, it's less interesting even than city government,
He didn't talk to me about nuclear war because obviously he didn't want to frighten us. 8, 9 years old, I vaguely remember that, if there was a nuclear attack, the best thing to do was, hide under your desk or wear a tinfoil hat. We didn't take it seriously because I did, what did I know? It was just something that was in the house. I would walk into our house and that's what was being talked about, but I wasn't afraid because I didn't really understand it, to be perfectly honest. I think he thought he was terrified like everybody was, which is why he chose to make a movie about this very terrifying subject, which is a threat still.
All his films are connected. He looked at our frailty, at our vanity, the fact that we have a tendency to self-destruct. We as humans, at that time, all thinking people were concerned about where that might end. Nobody knew. Kennedy didn't know. And that fascinated him. And then he read more and more and more. And then the film came out, split the audience, split the critics. I can quote a big newspaper without naming it. They said all of the Russian gold couldn't have bought them better anti-American propaganda than Kubrick delivered free of charge with his film, which is grotesque. But this is always people who go to the edge, and they get great fans and they get lots of enemies. This was true for all of Stanley's films.
When Strangelove was released, there were all kinds of articles about how implausible it was, about how nothing like this could ever occur. And that was a lie. There were no locks on the bombs. There were no controls on it. When President Kennedy took office, the authority to use nuclear weapons had secretly been granted to low-level commanders. But Kubrick looked really closely at our nuclear war planning. He had spoken to a lot of people in the military, and he was correct in assuming that we could have a nuclear war by accident. There are elements of the film that are exaggerated. There are elements of the film that are absurd. But the most absurd thing about the film is how accurate it is.